So tonight's therapy session, you know, is when survival mode becomes your personality. When it becomes your personality. And tonight, I don't want to just talk about how survival mode shaped you. I don't want to just talk about that. No. I want to talk about what survival may still be costing you. Did you just hear what I just said? What it may still be costing you. Because just some of you, some of you is costing you a lot. And it's costing so much and it's charging you interest. I want to say something that's going to be a little different tonight. It might feel a little different, but survival mode is powerful. It is. When you are in danger. Survival mode is powerful when you are in danger. But survival mode becomes dangerous when you start using it in places where God is trying to heal you. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. When I think about this survival mode, and I wanted to talk about this because, this is one of the things that happens. This is one of the things that happens when you grow up too fast. Some of you're not broken, and you think that you're losing your mind. You think that you're crazy. You're not crazy. Some of you right now, it's hard for you to find love, and that's what you're telling yourself. Some of you think you're the most difficult person in the world. I just want to say, you may be still operating from a version of you that had to make things possible. Yeah. You had to make it through something without enough help, without enough safety, without enough protection, without enough support. Yeah. Sometimes you have to make it through without enough language to even explain what's happening to you. And because that version of you survived, you started trusting the version too much. You tell yourself, look, I got through this, and now I'm going to get through it again and again and again. And then you get yourself stuck. You get yourself stuck because you start trusting that version of you too much. You start calling it personality. You start calling it wisdom. You say, look, this is peace. You say, look, this is my standard. You start calling it discernment. But tonight, we are going to ask a deeper question. Is this really who I am? Or is this what I became when I did not have another choice? I want you to write this down tonight. Survival mode helped you make it through the emergency. But it was never supposed to become the identity you live from forever. We're going to break this down because there's some people right now you don't understand. You don't understand how it have become and became your personality. The pain of survival mode becoming your personality is that you stop noticing. Yeah, you stop noticing because old pain begins to make new decisions. You think that you be choosing, but sometimes you are reacting. You think that you're protecting your peace, but sometimes you are protecting your fear. You think you're being wise, but sometimes you're just being suspicious. I'm just saying. And out of all people, you say, I'm so strong. You be like, man, I'm strong. I'm not saying that you're not. I don't want you to ever think, that I'm saying that you're a weak person and this and that. That is not what I'm saying right now. Nope. Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm just saying, sometimes you think you're strong, but sometimes. I'm just saying. We gonna get deep tonight. We about to get ready to get deep tonight. Sometimes you be numb and you think you just avoiding drama. But sometimes you be avoiding hard conversation that healing really do requires. And many of people, you become numb to it. You avoid the hard questions. Sometimes you get in therapy and you can't answer certain questions because you don't want to answer certain questions. This is where survival mode can get tricky. Because survival mode does not always look broken. Survival sometimes look like it's discipline. You be like, man, I'm strong, I'm powerful. Sometimes survival mode looks quiet. Sometimes survival looks unbothered. It looks like you're successful. And sometimes survival is just, I'm just telling you what it looks like. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it looks like the person who handles everything. But deep down, you're not living free. Nope. You're not living free. You're living guarded, and there's a difference. You can look like, I want you to write this down. Write this down. You can look like, you can look like you just all put together. Yeah. And still be living from a version of you that never felt safe. Do you ever hear the celebrities and people who are big and people who are, have a great life? You hear them say stuff like, man, I got this and I got that, and I just still don't feel safe. Maybe they grew up too early, because this is one of the traits. And then you ask yourself, you say, man, how much do it really cost me to stay in this survival mode? I don't want to just explain what survival mode is. I want to know if you have been counting. Like if you've literally been counting it, because it costs. When you just say, that's just how I am, that costs you. When you say, this is just me, that costs you. I'm just saying. It costs. It costs you your peace. It costs you connections. It costs you trust. It costs you love. I'm just saying. Sometimes it costs you your ability to receive help, your ability to let somebody love you. It costs you a lot. Survival mode is expensive. And this is the part that people don't talk about. Yeah, it costs you when you constantly trying to prove yourself to everybody else. Sometimes it costs you financially. I know people right now who they people please so much to where you go out to eat with them, they want to pay for everybody's food all the time just to try to prove something. I'm just saying. And sometimes it's just a survival mechanism. If I can make everybody around me happy, to be my friend, or to be the one who take me serious. Maybe you wasn't popular in school. Maybe, there's so many situations, it's crazy. But if you never heal, survival starts charging interest. Yeah, you grow old now. So now it's affecting your relationships. You can't get no sleep. You're old now, and it's charging you interest. You don't trust anything. Your ability to just be there, your ability to receive love I'm telling you, it's charging you interest. And interest in your ability to feel joy is high. I'm just saying. I want you to write this down. Some of you survived the pain, but now survival is charging you interest on your peace. I want to give you a small little understanding. I want to break it down a little bit. I'm going to give you an example. Think about a credit card you used in an emergency. You did what you had to do. You was in a tight spot and you needed help and you needed to cover something. So you swiped. You swipe silence. You swipe control. You swipe distance. You even swiped, I don't need nobody. You swiped, I'm fine. You swiped, I don't care. And in that season, it helped you survive. But now, years later, you're still paying interest on that emotional debt. You're still paying with your peace. Many people, you are still paying with your trust. You are still paying with your softness. You're paying with your ability to rest. And this is what survival becomes when it is your personality. It's what happens. It's like you made it out of the emergency, but the emergency mindset kept building your future. So it just follows you. I want you to write this down. Survival may have covered the emergency, but healing is required to stop the interest. I want to make it even more simple. There's many of us right now, you are tired. You're tired of carrying this same stuff that you've been carrying for years, and it's like it won't stop. That's interest. That's interest. It's costing your peace. It's taking from you. You're paying with your peace. Just saying. I'm just saying, because our brains is wired to predict. Our brains is wired to predict. It uses past information to prepare your future situations. This is why if something messed over you before, your brain tells you, don't touch that again. Don't mess with this person again. That is wisdom when danger is still real. But emotional pain can work the same way. Somebody say, what is emotional pain? You know what it is. That heartbreak you had 5 years ago, if you didn't heal, you still paying interest right now. Because right now, you still feel like danger is still real. Even when you are in another situation, even when you are years away from the issue, you still have a thing in your mind that just make you feel like, oh man, this is still here. You say, if people left me before, you be like, man, I know people gonna do it again. So now you trying to predict somebody abandoning you. Somebody lied to you before. Your mind may predict betrayal. If love felt unsafe before, your mind predict pain. every time love gets close. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get it? So now you are not always responding to what happened. Sometimes you are responding to what your brain predicts might happen based on what already happened. I know I just said a lot, but I really didn't say a lot. It's really a little. So sometimes, when you're talking about the survival mode, it is really so simple. You survival mode have you trying to predict your future. You be thinking, oh, I'm about to prophesy my own pain. This person, I can see these traits, or I can see this. And sometimes you judging a person based off reactions that you learned from pain. There's real people that be in real situations by themselves. Delusion is a real thing. I never understood the power of delusion until I had people in my life that was filled with delusion. And they would believe lies. And then I would understand, how God will hand people over, like your enemies, over to delusion. But sometimes when you're in survival mode, sometimes delusion might have kept you safe. It's crazy, it's deep, but it's just life. And people start thinking like, when I used to be delusional about a person, I had a fake sense of what I thought they was, just saying. This is why people, when they change tones around you, sometimes it feels like disrespect. Healthy relationships, they really feel suspicious. It's because your system learned patterns. Your system, it learned patterns. But healing is when you stop letting the old data be the only information your future gets to use. Just saying. Your past, I want you to write this down. Your past may explain your prediction, but it does not get to control your future response. So when somebody, when I know your past and I know what you think, it may, because all of us do it. We try to predict our future from our past. We do. And it's just something that every now and then we have to heal from that way of thinking. And we have to say, look, just because somebody hurt me back then don't mean that I'm gonna automatically be there again. I want to just talk about what it looks like in real life briefly. You meet someone good, but you make them pay for what somebody else did. Do you know anybody like that? When you meet somebody good, or have that ever been you? Have that ever been a situation where you met a good person, but you made them pay for what somebody else did? You abandoning a good person first because of what somebody else did. How about you hear correction, but your body hears attack? Now that's deep. You hear correction, but your body, it hears attack. You see consistency, but your mind search for the catch. You get peace in your life, but peace feels boring because chaos trains your nervous system. You get support, but support feels uncomfortable because doing it alone became familiar. Just saying. This is what it looks like. When you tell people, I need love, but you getting the love. But love feels risky because the last time you loved deeply, it cost you something. You understand what I'm saying? This is what it looks like. That is survival mode becoming personality. That's what it looks like. Yeah, like when you get misunderstood and now you feel like you have to over-explain yourself until you're exhausted. That's survival mode. And you have let it become personality. It takes one moment and attaches old meaning to it. That's what survival mode do. It takes one moment and it attaches old meaning to it. It takes one situation and brings every old wound to the table. One situation. There was a situation today and kind of caught somebody in a lie. And someone told me, they said, man, when I catch somebody in a lie, because we was talking about it, because everybody caught it as a group collectively. And we was like, boy, it is so hard to believe people once you catch them in one lie. Is y'all like that too? Like if you catch somebody in a lie and it's like, boy, it's so hard to trust you. I don't know. Like, boy, I don't know what's true around you, because if you can lie one time, boy, you can keep lying. It takes that one situation. Now, this is a good situation because, this could be a little different. But it takes one situation to bring up old wounds to the table. So now you like, man, catch this person in one lie. Now I'm thinking about, man, the last time I caught a person in a lie, this person sold me a dream and it was a nightmare. See, it takes one mistake. It does. One person mistake. And it makes them stand trial for everybody who hurt you before. Sure do. That's the truth. Now, if you believe in what I'm saying, I want you to drop a 100. Send those hearts. Get those likes up there tonight. Share this live with somebody who may need this. I won't be on long tonight. But I wanted to keep my commitment and get to night 2 tonight. I want you to write this down. Do not make new people stand trial for old pain they did not cause. Don't make new people who are coming in and out of your life, don't make them stand trial. Don't do that. For pain that they didn't cause. And let's be honest. This just don't affect relationships. It affects you in your leadership. If any of my leaders are on this call tonight, I would say, look, don't do this. Don't try to make people judge. Don't try to judge people based off your old pain. That affects leadership. That affects parenting. That affects friendships. Just saying. It affects business deals. It affects how you receive correction in the future. It even affects how you apologize. It affects how you trust. I'm just saying. Survival mode does not just stay in one room. If you don't heal it, it follows you into every room. See, you thought survival mode just followed you in one situation. You say, man, I gotta always work and I feel like I can't take a break and I gotta always, even though I have a lot of money, even though I can do this, even though I have freedom, you just feel like I gotta survive, right? Sometimes that mentality follow you into everything. Sometimes you can't complete jobs because you don't have rest. You've taught yourself that I can't get rest. You forgot that when God made the world, he rested. And when you are building in you and you have power in you and you have, purpose in you, you got to rest. You got to build and you have to rest so you can continue to repeat. But survival mode, it follows you. It's not just one way to look at it. It's so many different levels to survival mode. And this is why you have to have a conversation, because it follows you. It follows you. You ask yourself, man, I don't understand, why I can't keep this, why I can't keep a person happy in my life, or why I can't do this. Maybe this is who I just am. I say maybe there's something you still have to heal from. Maybe there's something you keep telling yourself that you believe about yourself that's not true. What you refuse to heal from privately will eventually start leading publicly. You ever see people who put on this facade? And you think, this person is just fine. And then before you know it, eventually, publicly, it takes a turn for the worse. A lot of time this happens because people don't want to heal in private. If you was that little girl that you didn't heal from survival mode, you didn't heal from growing up too soon, and you don't heal in private, people will see publicly what you do with your lifestyle. Why is she so free? Why she do this? And every time I see her, she smells like alcohol. And every time I see her, she with her homegirls. And every time it's just something that baby. And most of the time you find out that most people who indulge in things to stay numb, you find out that they did it to survive. And now they're growing older and older and older. And now it's time to go to another season. And you have to leave what kept you alive. You have to leave it. And sometimes it's an attachment and you just can't break it. Maybe it's not alcohol. Maybe it's men. Maybe for you, it's other things that you have addicted yourself to survive. But it's like there's another level now. There's another level. Maybe it did get me through a dark season. Maybe that did, because I gotta be honest, sometimes when you're so filled with misery, you ain't trying to pray. You trying to feel something. You trying to feel good. You trying to, get yourself together like you really have a real deal, that thing that you're going through. You're trying to cope. You're trying to cope. I'm just saying. I want to tell you a truth. Your survival mode, I tell people, it deserves compassion. It do. It deserves compassion because your future requires correction. Both can be true. Both can be true. Your survival mode, let me say this again, it deserves compassion. It does. but your future requires correction. Both can be true. I tell you, you have to have compassion for what happened to you. You have to have a heart for it. You have to honor what happened and how you survived. You have to honor yourself sometime and be like, man, talk to yourself sometime and say, look, you did good. This was handed to you. This person handed this to you. That person handed. You had to grow up to you so soon. You had to survive this. Maybe you had to survive a bad relationship. Maybe you had to survive some things, and sometimes you have to pat yourself on the back. There are some stories I hear where women have went through some things, and I say, baby, you don't give yourself enough compassion. The way you survived, the way you just went through, the way you just handled that, the way you put up with this, the way you put up with that type of abuse, the mental, the physical, I say, girl, you ain't giving yourself enough. You ain't giving yourself enough compassion. So when I think about when you had to grow up too early, have you really just sat and gave yourself a compassion, a pat on the back and said, look, I did what I could do with what I had. I had to survive. I couldn't process things. I didn't understand. And so I pat myself on the back for at least. But when you do that, you realize that, look, there's still some correction. There's still some correction that needs to happen, though. Even though you made it through, there's still some correction. And that's all I'm saying. You cannot keep letting pain be your personality. You can't keep doing it. That's an excuse. I know I said it, and it hurts when I say this. You can't keep letting pain be your personality. You say, this is why I do what I do, Mark. You can't keep doing that when healing is trying to show you who you can become. I keep saying, you go through things in life. You go through pain to become stronger. You go through pain because there's another revelation in your life you haven't discovered. You go through pain because there's greatness in you. There's something that's coming out of you. And sometimes you go through pain because you put your faith in men and not God. Sometimes you go through pain because you put your faith in you and not God. So you can't keep allowing yourself to say, look, this is just who I am. When healing is trying to show you a better version of yourself. Can you be honest with me tonight in therapy session and say, you're the best that you can be right now? Are you just who you is? Can you say that the person that you say, this is just who I am? Can you honestly say, dang, can this person become better? Or can that person become better? Heal. 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 Because healing is trying to teach you something. Healing is trying to teach you something. Just saying. It's trying to teach you. You got to let it teach you. You can't keep calling everything a boundary when sometimes in your life you are avoiding people. Sometimes you avoid people because you can't handle certain things. You avoid the conversations that you really do need to have. And you say, man, this is just my boundary. This happens a lot. You avoid conversations and you say, that's my boundary. I don't want to talk about it. But it'd be conversations that could build your character, conversations that could heal your character. I'm just saying. I want you to write this down. Compassion explains why you became that way, but responsibility decides whether you stay that way. Are you responsible? Do you look at yourself right now and say, I'm a responsible person? Let me ask you a question. If you got kids and you're responsible for your children, I want you to drop a 100. I want to know who's responsible. If you have responsibility, right? I want you to drop a 100 in the comments. I just want to know that I'm talking to a people that understands what I'm saying right now. See, compassion, it explains why you became that way. But I want to talk about the responsibility, because responsibility decides whether you stay that way. Okay, bet. So look, okay, follow me. If you have a car and you're responsible to pay that car note, I want you to drop a 100 in the comments. I want you to drop a 100 in the comments. If you have a car and you have a responsibility, drop a 100 in the comments. Okay? Now, if you have a cell phone bill that you have to pay, and you have to be responsible to pay that bill, or you can't communicate, drop a 100 in the comments. Drop a 100 in the comments. Okay? All right? If you have a job that pays you and they require you to come to work on time, or they require you to do a job, maybe you're a contractor, and you have the responsibility to work that job so you can take care of your family or take care of things, drop a 100 in the comments. Okay. Now I'm going to say this again, what I told you to write down. See, compassion explains why you became that way, but responsibility decides whether you stay that way. I want to ask you a personal question. Have you ever thought about you being responsible for yourself? Have you been responsible for yourself? Just type yes or no. Have you been responsible for yourself, for your emotional health, your mental health? Have you been responsible? You've been responsible to your friends. You've been responsible to your job. You've been responsible to paying your bills. You've been responsible to doing everything else. I want to tell you that, look, you have to be responsible for yourself. You got to save yourself. You have to get to you are responsible for your own healing. It's not your mom. It's not your dad. It's not your cousin. It's not your aunties. It's not the people who have done you wrong. It's not their responsibility. If you stay that way, it's your responsibility. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's a thing in you that you have to understand. Just like I'm responsible for everything else, I need to be responsible for me. And that's a whole nother level of healing. That's a whole nother level of living, because now it's like, man, when I really think about it, it's like I've been in survival so long because I have not been responsible. See, because responsibility decides whether I stay in this sunken place. And that's where real healing starts. It don't start when you blame yourself, When you shame yourself, or when you finally say, I understand why I become that way. But when you finally realize why you stay this way, you got to start telling yourself, man, I refuse to allow survival mode to become the ceiling on who I can be. Because that's what we do. I want to ask you something tonight. What has survival mode been costing you? Simple. What has it been costing you? What opportunity has it been costing you? Somebody said survival mode been costing them their hair. Boy, that is hilarious. Wow. Yeah. I remember I was a little boy, my mom used to get these Jerry curls. And I don't know what she thought she was doing, but boy, that Jerry curl, when she tried to go natural, and her hair would be itching, she would be like, boy, go get that comb and come over here and scratch my head for me. I used to say, Mom, I think this Jerry curl might be costing you some hair, baby. I was a kid, though. I was a kid. And I used to hear these stories of my aunties saying how people would get Jerry curls and their hair would be falling out. Boy, a trip down memory lane. Well, she used to be like, boy, come over here and scratch my head, boy. You know, when you get old, you miss them days where you had no worry in the world, but just go be mama's best friend. Yeah. Well, them was the days. But yeah, you are responsible for your healing. You are responsible if you stay there. You are responsible if you allow survival mode to stay in your life and pressing on you like that. You are responsible. If this is hitting you, I just want you to give me some likes. Share this live with somebody who needs it. I want to give you 7 tips tonight. 7 tips I want you to write down. 7 tips that I want you to write down. 7 ways to stop letting survival mode cost you your future. So I want to give you 7 tips. Somebody said, hold on. I'm going to hold on just a little while longer. I want to give you maybe a couple seconds and then we're going in. We're going in. We're going in. All right, 7 ways to stop letting survival mode cost you your future. Number 1. You know what? If you're ready, drop ready. I just want to make sure you're ready. I seen some names saying, hold on. If you're ready, just let me know you're ready because I'm about to go. All right, here we go. Number 1, count the cost. Count the cost of the version you keep defending. Count the cost. Ask yourself, what has that saying and I always say, this is just who I am. What has it been costing me? If it keep costing you your peace, if it keep costing you connection, trust, communication, if it keep costing you love and real rest, you can't keep calling it your personality. Count the cost. Count the cost. Number 2, stop confusing familiar reactions with wise reactions. Just because a reaction comes naturally does not mean it is healthy. It doesn't. You thought silence was healthy. But listen, a lot of times, what if the silence was just familiar? What if just leaving may be familiar? Control may be familiar. Assuming the worst may be familiar. But familiar don't always mean you're free. It don't always mean you're free. Number three, check on who keeps paying for what they did not do. Check on who keeps paying for what they did not do. You keep bringing these people in your life and you making them pay a price for something they didn't do. You making them pay the price because you grew up too young or something may have happened to you or you in this survival mode, and you make these people pay prices because you are not responsible about your own healing. We do. Sometimes we make people pay prices, especially when you got mama issues and you got daddy issues and you got trust issues and you got these type of issues and you got healing that needs to been done in your life. Sometimes you be like, man, who is getting my suspicion because somebody else lied? I'm just saying. Healing requires you to stop charging new people for old emotional debt. Some of the most broken people that I know right now have things that was done to them and they make people pay a price. People really try to love them. People really try to come into their life and do things for them. And they just mess the whole relationship up because they still dealing with old emotional debt. Still dealing with old emotional problems. But healing requires you to stop charging new people for old things that they had nothing to do. They had nothing to do with it. Number 4, stop making your future negotiate. It's not in there at all. It's not in there at all. Stop making your future negotiate with your fear. Did you just hear what I just said? Sometimes that's what we do. We try to make our future negotiate with our fear. We tell ourselves we want love, but we keep negotiating the terms. We do. We say we want growth, but fear keeps reminding us where we failed before. And this is I want you to pay attention to this because this is the key for some people who you've been telling yourself you want to grow out of an addiction. But sometimes fear might tell you, well, I failed before. I tried before and it didn't work. But you're telling yourself, I won't grow, but fear comes in and keep reminding you You understand what I'm saying? Stop making your future negotiate with your fear. Stop making your future negotiate with your fear. At some point, your future cannot keep asking fear for permission. Why are you allowing your future to get permission from fear? You don't want to take a chance. You don't want to grow sometimes because, hey, you just keep reminding yourself, well, it didn't work for them. It didn't work for this person. It didn't work. Number 5, learn the difference between a warning and a wound. Learn the difference between a warning and a wound. You understand what I'm saying? Learn the difference. Get you out of here. Just saying. Number 5. Learn the difference. Learn the difference. Okay. Thank you. Had to just block somebody. I ain't know if y'all seen it or not. Appreciate it. Learn the difference between a warning and a wound. See, a warning gives clarity. A wound gives panic. And when you're warned about something, it's like, hey, look, that's dangerous. I understand that if I did this, that would be dangerous. I understand if I'm up under that tree when it falls, I may get crushed. That's a warning. And you get warnings like, hey, that gives clarity. A wound, it gives panic. A real wound, it gives panic. You ever broke your bone in your body and you panic? Oh man, I got a story for you then. How about I was at the beach, right? And my son, my oldest son at the time, we all out there, got our shirt off, We was in a part of Cali where the water gets high. It gets crazy high, right? And they gonna say, Dad, you wanna race? I'm like, boy, y'all some youngsters, man. I'm finna dust y'all boys, man. Y'all boys ain't gonna be able to see me. I said, I'm finna dust y'all boys. How about, man, I was running. I'm talking about, boy, these youngsters ain't got nothing on me. I'm keeping up with them. But when I got to the bottom of to run back, them legs don't work the same. I'm talking about, I tried to put the brakes on to go the other way because it was, you run one way and then you come back and then you win. Man, how about I fell and broke my collarbone? I'm talking about I was out there panicking. I said, oh, I said, I ain't gonna die, Emma. I said, man, please. I was like, God, I started panicking. I'm talking about that bone. I heard that bone say, pow. I said, oh. I think I'm out of here. Man, these folk were laughing at me. My sons, they come over there, they say, Dad, you good? I said, yeah, I'm good. I'm just trying to put it back in place. But in my mind, I was panicking. I'm like, ooh, this hurt right now. Soon as they walked away and they went a different direction, I was crying. I was like, oh my God, look at this pain. This is real pain. I started panicking. So they called the ambulance. I rode in the ambulance. And I told the dude, I said, man, look, man. I said, people don't pass away from this, do they? He said, man, stop panicking. You fine. You just broke your collarbone, man. You broke your collarbone. I said, man, but we don't know how serious it is. He says, man, you ain't having no other symptoms, man. You just broke it. It happens all the time in sports. Woo! But I thought I was out of here, though. I was panicking. I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, I need you to pray for me. My dad a pastor. So I said, Dad, I need you to pray for me, man. Hey, I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Boy, I tell you. Yeah. I had that wound gave me real panic. Like, I was really panicking. But a warning says, pay attention. A real warning. It says, pay attention. And that's why I like discernment, because when you got real discernment says, hey, look, pay attention. I'm trying to warn you about this person. But a wound says everybody is the same. And anybody that you meet right now that says everybody is the same are people who are wounded. This is basic 101 psychology. They say every relationship the same. They say every man is the same. They say everybody, they say they happy, but they not know, baby, you just hurt. Said what I said. You just hurt. You saying everybody in this world is the same. Everybody is broken like you. Everybody is miserable like you. Everybody is, no, I'm just saying, when you say this and you say every relationship in the world is not good, every relationship is the same, I'm telling you, psychology says that's a wound speaking. That's somebody's pain speaking. You say that because you haven't healed from betrayal. So look, if you find yourself saying this right now, stop it. Stop it. Because right now you saying, oh, everybody's the same. Everybody's not the same. You have good people and you have evil people. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. People right now saying you didn't know that I was on. I apologize, but I can't send a text message this late at night is this disrespectful. I don't want nobody to get in trouble. They get a text message saying that we're going live and it's too super late at night. I just won't do that. I can't do that. And so be like, nah, you ain't in therapy. I know what you're doing. Who texting you this late at night? I don't even want to put you in that situation. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe. I'm about to close in a minute. But yeah, don't let a wound dress itself up as discernment. Just saying. A warning, a real warning, it helps you to move wisely. It does. Number 6, stop using survival as your identity when it was only supposed to be transportation. Do you understand what that means? Survival just being a moment of transportation. You hear people say they got caught out in the weather and they had to survive a thunderstorm. Survival at that moment was transportation. I'm getting from this place to the next place, so I may have to do something to protect me, to go into a real protection. I might have to survival mode. Sometimes it's only meant to be your transportation. You ever hear people who say, man, I had to go through so much and I came from the struggle. My mama didn't have nothing. My daddy didn't have nothing. I had to grow up a hard life. Maybe that was just your transportation. Maybe the thing that you learned out of that cost you to be very wealthy. You understand what it was like to be poor. God didn't say stay there. He didn't tell you that being poor should be your identity. No. What if you thought about it like this? That was a transportation. That was a vehicle that I had at the time. And there's many of us right now, your vehicle may be surviving. I know I can't be the only one who had a vehicle that was just surviving. Raggedy, just surviving. I'm talking about smoking and going on. I'm just saying, sometimes. And if you liken this to survival mode and you say, you try to make this, this is the car that I'm going to drive for the rest of my life. This is the season that I'm going to be in. And for the rest of my life, this is my identity. This is what I want. And this is just what it's going to be. But sometimes it was only transportation. Survival got you through that storm. It did. But you're not supposed to live in the vehicle that only came to get you out. Survival was transportation. And that's the way you have to look at it. Healing is your destination. Survival is your transportation. Think about life. I want you to think about this and pay attention to what I'm saying. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Survival being transportation, but healing is your destination. Think about how you had to just make it living paycheck to paycheck. That's survival mode. And many of you are still there right now. And sometimes you tell yourself, yo, this is just who I am. A lot of times you just gave up and I'm just saying, sometimes what if you have some healing that needs to be done so that you can believe that you deserve more? Maybe there's some healing that needs to take place in your life. You always tell, this is, you struggle with not being enough. So you say, I will never be enough. So you don't ever look for nothing more than enough. You see how this stuff can line up? I tell you, everybody needs healing. I don't care whether you're rich or poor. Everybody needs healing. I don't care whether you're happy or in a relationship. Everybody needs healing. Healing is a destination. I'm just saying, don't park your whole identity in what was just meant to carry you through. I've got to be honest. I thank God for survival mode. You should too, because it got you through. You survived. You just stayed there too long. Number 7, choose the heal response before the old reaction has a microphone. Has the microphone. Choose the healed response before the old reaction has the microphone. See, you need a decision before the trigger. Did you just hear what I just said? You need a decision before the trigger. When you feel ignored, or say, when I feel ignored, I will not beg or attack. When I feel misunderstood, I will not over-explain myself into exhaustion. When I feel afraid, I will not let fear make the final decision. When I feel old pain rising, I will ask Is this truth or is this memory? This is how you take your future back. Do you understand what I'm saying? Healing is when your future stops paying for the emotional debt of your past. And I'm going to close tonight. I want to say survival helped you make it. It did. Survival, it helped you keep going. Survival helped you cover the emergency, but survival was never supposed to become the whole story. You are not, I'm just saying, your emergency response. You are not the worst season. You are not your first reaction. You know, we've been taught for so long, if you don't know the answer to the test, whatever come up in your mind, that's the answer. No, it's not. The first answer you think about, that's the answer. That's a myth. Man, I tried that when I was in school. Boy, I was feeling left and right. Somebody told me if you don't know the answer, it's your first reaction. Whatever you see, that's what it is. Man, I took this test one time. I was like, oh, A, B, D, O, C, A. I'm talking about, I thought I was doing something. Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lee. You failed, son. What are the things we listen to? See, it ain't just start when the reels happen, how people just believe anything on the internet now. No, it started way back in the day too. They used to say, look, just take the answer a certain type of way on multiple choice and you can't fail. Man, I was still failing them tests. I'm just saying, but you are not your first reaction. Yeah. Just saying. You are not the fear that you developed when trust became dangerous. That may explain you. It may explain you, but it does not have to define you. I want you to always honor the version of you that survived without letting that version keep building your future. So hear me clearly as I close tonight. You are allowed to become someone survival does not recognize. I love it. You are allowed to trust without letting old betrayal write the rules. You are allowed to rest without feeling like danger is waiting. You are allowed to receive without wondering what it will cost you later. You are allowed to be corrected without feeling rejected. You are allowed to be supported without feeling weak. You are allowed to stop calling old pain your personality. Because the next version of you cannot be built while the emergency version of you is still running the house. You just heard what I just said. You made it through. But now you have to stop letting what got you through keep deciding where you go next. You survived the emergency. Now it's time to cancel the interest, cancel the debt. I know many of us, we wish it were just as simple as, I wish, many of us would wish right now, we wish we could cancel real debt. Not only emotional debt, boy. When that word debt come up, boy, our mind just go over there to them finances. Like, boy, man, we talking about, what if we could just cancel all the debt, Mark? Shoot. There'll be something, right? But yeah, you survived the emergency. Now it's time to cancel the interest, cancel the debt, cancel the old agreement, cancel the belief that survival is all you got to be. And this is a mindset thing, because if it's passed down to you sometimes, you had to grow up too early and it was passed down to you. Don't pass that down to your kids. Don't pass that down to the next generation. That is where you begin to live different. That is where you begin to respond different. That is where you start to love different and trust different, receive different and lead different, heal different. What I want you to do, I want you to start moving different. I want you to choose different. I want you to protect your peace different. And I want you to stop letting survival charge interest on your future. You know why? Because healing already paid for it. Tap in. Tap into real healing. And it'll cancel the debt. Did you just hear what I just said? Real healing canceled the debt. And I like to say, not just emotionally, even financially. There's some personal characteristics in our character where real healing can cancel the debt. Did you just hear what I just said? So yeah. This was your therapy session tonight.